Welcome, everyone. Today, we dive into the story of a man whose career has been a lesson in perseverance, humility, and quiet strength. A man who burst into the national spotlight with grace and class, who carried the weight of expectations with a calm rarely seen in sports, and who continues to redefine what it means to lead, not just in moments of triumph, but in times of trial. This is the journey of Marcus Mariota, a quarterback whose legacy isn't built on noise, but on the unshakable foundation of faith, humility, and the unwavering belief that true greatness is measured not by accolades alone, but by how one handles the storms along the way. Marcus Mariota's story begins far from the bright lights of the mainland United States, in Honolulu, Hawaii, where football is more than a sport. It's a community, a bond, a way of life that reflects the island's deep values of respect, family, and perseverance. Growing up in a close-knit Samoan and native Hawaiian family, Marcus was surrounded by love, discipline, and faith. His parents, Toa and Alana Mariota, raised him to value humility above all else, to carry himself with grace, to work hard without boasting, and to let his actions speak louder than his words. Those lessons would come to define every chapter of his journey. At St. Louis School in Honolulu, a powerhouse that produced legends like Timmy Chong and Tua Tagovailoa, Mariota was far from an overnight star. In fact, he didn't even start at quarterback until his senior year. But when the opportunity came, he seized it with quiet fire. His combination of speed, poise, and intelligence made him nearly unstoppable. He led his team to a state championship, but what stood out most wasn't just his performance. It was the way he carried himself. No showboating, no arrogance, just focus and gratitude. That demeanor would become his trademark in every locker room he entered. When Chip Kelly and the Oregon Ducks came calling, Mariota saw the chance to take his game and his education to the next level. But even at Oregon, he wasn't the most hyped recruit. He arrived as a redshirt freshman, quiet, determined, and ready to learn. Yet from his very first start in 2012, it was clear that something special was happening in Eugene. Mariota's combination of speed, accuracy, and composure revolutionized the Ducks' offense. He wasn't just running Kelly's system, he was elevating it. Over the next 3 seasons, Mariota became the face of college football. His style of play was electric, the perfect marriage of explosiveness and efficiency. But what made him truly different wasn't the stats or the highlight plays. It was the calm within the chaos. He played fast, but he thought faster. He made decisions not with panic, but with peace. He carried the Ducks with poise, leading them to victory after victory and capturing the admiration of fans and analysts across the nation. In 2014, his efforts were rewarded when he became the first Oregon player and the first player of Polynesian descent to win the Heisman Trophy. That moment was more than an individual achievement. It was a cultural milestone. Standing on that stage, wearing the lei that symbolized his roots, Mariota gave a speech that captured who he truly was. He thanked his family, his coaches, his teammates, and his island. His voice cracked with emotion, his humility palpable. It wasn't just a trophy, it was a reflection of every person who had shaped him. Then came the next chapter, the NFL. In 2015, the Tennessee Titans selected Marcus Mariota with the 2nd overall pick, entrusting him with the keys to their franchise. It was a monumental leap. From college icon to professional quarterback, from Eugene's roar to the scrutiny of the NFL stage. And yet, in classic Mariota fashion, he embraced it with quiet resolve. His debut was nothing short of cinematic. In his very first NFL game, he threw 4 touchdown passes in the first half, a record-setting performance that announced his arrival with authority. For a moment, it felt like destiny. But as time would reveal, Mariota's NFL journey wasn't going to be defined by smooth sailing. It would be marked by highs, lows, and lessons that tested every part of his character. The years in Tennessee were a study in resilience. Injuries came, nagging, untimely, and frustrating. Coaching changes, offensive schemes, and shifting rosters disrupted continuity. There were flashes of brilliance, comeback wins, jaw-dropping runs, and moments where his leadership shone. But there were also setbacks that would have broken lesser men. Yet Mariota never pointed fingers, never complained, never lost his composure. Even as the team transitioned to Ryan Tannehill in 2019, Marcus handled it with grace that left an impression on everyone in the organization. He showed that leadership isn't about status, it's about strength of character. After Tennessee, Mariota's path took him across the league, from backing up Derek Carr in Las Vegas to starting again in Atlanta and later finding a role with the Philadelphia Eagles. Each stop revealed something deeper about him. Even when he wasn't the starter, he was a mentor. Even when he wasn't under the brightest spotlight, he was the glue in the locker room. Coaches and teammates spoke of his professionalism, his empathy, and his unshakable work ethic. He was the kind of player who made others better, not just by what he said, but by the example he set. In today's sports world, where ego often overshadows effort, Marcus Mariota is a refreshing reminder of what true leadership looks like. He embodies humility without weakness, confidence without arrogance. He doesn't need headlines to validate him. His integrity speaks for itself. Whether he's leading a huddle, studying film, or encouraging a younger teammate, his presence commands quiet respect. Off the field, Mariota's impact is just as profound. Through his Motive 8 Foundation, he's given back to communities in Hawaii, Oregon, and beyond, funding youth programs, supporting education, and uplifting families in need. His commitment to faith and service isn't performative, it's personal. He understands that the platform football gives him is temporary, but the difference he can make is lasting. What's remarkable about Mariota is how he continues to adapt. The game has evolved, and so has he. Refining his mechanics, improving his footwork, and embracing each role with the same professionalism that's defined him since his college days. Whether he's starting or supporting, leading drives, or leading by example, he approaches each opportunity with gratitude. Because for him, the love of football isn't about fame, it's about purpose. There's also a quiet spiritual depth to Marcus Mariota that sets him apart. He plays for something bigger than himself. Every time he steps onto the field, he carries not just his own dreams, but the pride of an entire culture, the islands, the people, the values that raised him. He plays for family, for faith, for every kid who's been told they're too quiet or too humble to lead. His journey proves that you don't need to yell to be heard. You just need to stay true to who you are. Even now, as a veteran presence in the league, Mariota's story continues to inspire. He's found peace in the process, understanding that the measure of success isn't always in stats or titles, but in the consistency of effort and the authenticity of heart. He's a bridge between eras, a reminder that in a world obsessed with what's next, there's still beauty in being steady, dependable, and true. For young quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota is a lesson in grace under pressure. He's proof that leadership can be quiet and still powerful, that adversity doesn't have to define you, and that faith, when paired with hard work, can guide you through anything. He's not the loudest voice in the room, but his presence is felt everywhere he goes. As his journey continues, one thing remains clear: Marcus Mariota's story isn't about what could have been. It's about what is: resilience, maturity, and unwavering faith. He's the embodiment of balance, a competitor who never loses his compassion, a warrior who never forgets his roots, and a man who never lets the game change who he is. Because at the end of the day, Marcus Mariota represents something timeless, the quiet strength that keeps showing up, no matter what. The kind of greatness that doesn't demand attention, it earns it. And whether his name is on the marquee or in the fine print, the respect he commands will always endure. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this tribute to Marcus Mariota, a story of perseverance, leadership, and faith through every chapter of the game, be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories about the athletes who prove that greatness begins with character.